Over the years, there has always been the conversation around the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And in this video, we want to look at that. But beyond looking at that conversation or that difference, we want to be able to establish and take a test that helps us to determine whether we are truly building wealth or we are just rich. Because honestly, you can be rich, have a lot of money, have a lot of cash, have like 4 to 5 cars in your compound, but never be able to enter the realm of wealth. All of that are not indications of being wealthy. In fact, being wealthy is something you must do intentionally beyond just making money or having money in your account. So in this video, you and I want to take the wealth test so that we can determine that we don't just have money and cash in our account, but we are truly building wealth. And the reason we are having this very important conversation is because at Fortreal Rei Ltd, our ultimate vision is to help our clients build sustainable wealth through real estate. And the truth about it is that a lot of persons have money, but they are not really building wealth. So in this video, you and I want to take the wealth test so that we can determine whether we are wealthy, we are building wealth, or we are just rich and may not be able to enter the realm of building sustainable wealth. There is a conversation already around the poverty test, which helps to determine whether you are poor or you are not, or you've escaped it, or you are in a critical state that requires an emergency. This particular video is a continuation of the video I had done already on poverty test, and it's important that you watch that particular video because it is the foundation to this particular conversation, irrespective of who you are. Because truly we must eliminate every form of mindset that can cause poverty and impose, of course, enforce every mindset that can help us truly build wealth through real estate. Do subscribe to this channel, allows you to drop a comment and be a part of this family, because right here we are building sustainable wealth through real estate. My name is Raymond Ijoma and I am the lawyer that loves real estate. So if you like the real estate entrepreneur that is law and real estate as a tool in building wealth for myself and my clients. And this video was brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, real estate company right here in the very city of Abuja. Don't forget to share this particular video with a friend. So as we had stated in the former video as well, there are 4 categories that we're going to have to be able to determine at the end of taking this test. Now, there is the wealthy, there is the building wealth, there is the rich, and of course there is the just starting. In other words, you're just starting the journey to being rich. And ordinarily from this realm, you are meant to begin to build wealth and then end up here, sustainable wealth, right? But a whole lot of persons may end up here, which is something we're trying to deal with intentionally. So the very first test is, or again, I forgot to mention, you have to take a note and divide it into 3. Put a 10 here, put a 5 here, and put a 0 here. Depending on your answer to the question, if your answer is a strong yes, then put a 10 here. If your answer is in between, put a 5 here. Then if your answer is a no, then of course, put a 0 here. And with this, at the end of the day, we determine which of these categories that you fall into. Test number 1, you have a mindset or the mindset of wealth. You see, wealth always starts with the mind, not with money. It always starts with the mindset, not the money or the cash. And for you to truly be wealthy, you must possess the mindset of wealth. And I would strongly advise or encourage that you look for books around this conversation or trainings or visual materials that helps you to develop the mindset of wealth. Test number 2, you save before you spend. Right? You save before you spend. If all you do is spend everything that comes your way, and for a whole lot of persons, there's always the excuse that I don't earn enough. But honestly, if you don't have the savings culture or habit, as the case may be, no matter what you earn, you will never be able to save. Even if you save it, you will still go back to spend it, because savings is about the mindset. And that mindset helps you to develop the habit. And once you develop that habit, it is not a matter of what you earn. It's a matter of the habit that helps you to save irrespective. When I was earning 40K salary every month, I was saving as much as 70. And there is that conversation around 80-20 principle. In other words, you spend 80 and spend 80 and save 20. I'm not a fan. Honestly, especially depending on who you are and the state that you are. You can't tell a man who is in his 30s to be saving 20%. What is he going to do with 20% at the end of the day, right? This person requires an emergency strategy. The person should move away from the norm or the conversation around 80-20. At the time, while I just finished my NYSC service year, as the case may be, I considered myself in a critical state and I wasn't saving 20. 20 would be a serious situation, because imagine saving 20% of 40,000 naira. For how long are you going to be able to scale or build something tangible with 20% of 40,000 naira every month? All right. So it's important that you also look at the principle or your principle around saving money. Test number 3, you seriously pay attention to the conversation around money, wealth, an investment. In other words, you're interested. You're naturally interested. It's a conference, a meeting, it's a book, it's a video, anything. It's a conversation. In fact, the fact that you're on this YouTube channel should give me an idea that you have that mindset and you're interested in the conversation around wealth, money, and everything in between. All right. So that is an important part of the test. The 4th test is, do you have a real estate investment? Now, if you have a real estate investment, then give yourself, now let's break it down. If you have a lot of real estate investments, or you invest in real estate every year consistently, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5 plots, so it can be 1 property every year, and the idea of that property is investment or building wealth, and you do that consistently, then give yourself a 10, right? If you just own one in your village, or you are just there, you buy once in 10 years, right? And that one that you're even buying is a whole lot of struggle, or somebody forced you, your uncle, your mom, or your dad forced you to buy it at some point, you can give yourself a 5, right? But you don't have at all, give yourself a 0. Now, let me say something very important here. What triggered me to make my first real estate investment was when I read the book, Secret of the Millionaire Mind. In that book, I had to determine my net worth. Now, part of the conversation around this test is that you need to know your net worth. You need to know your net worth. And what are the indices that you're going to use to determine your net worth if you don't even have any asset at all? Right? Or you don't have fixed asset or assets that are growing and of course can help you build wealth, right? So it's important that you look at your net worth around this particular conversation and of course give yourself the appropriate score. Test number 5, you don't budget, neither do you track your expenses. So honestly, at the end of the month, you should ordinarily figure out and know where your money goes to. And then, of course, if you do budgeting right, that will help you to be able to determine and know where your money goes to. And then that basically is a matter of conversation around your expense, your income, and then everything in between. So if you don't know how your money is spent or don't know where it goes to every month consistently, then of course, give yourself the appropriate number. So if you do budgeting and track your finances, give yourself a 10. But if you don't or do it sometimes, give yourself a 5, and then as the case may be. Test number 10 is your income, your purchasing power, and your value consistently increasing. If yes, give yourself a 10, because that's a very good indication that you're actually building something tangible and sustainable for yourself. And the reason I put income separately from purchasing power is because your income may be increasing, but your purchasing power is reducing, and that is because of basic micro and macroeconomics. All right, so you must pay attention, and of course more specifically inflation. So you must pay attention to your income, your purchasing power, and your value as a person growing consistently. And if yours is in that direction, of course, give yourself the appropriate number. Test number 7, do you take appropriate calculated risk based on research and data for yourself in line with building wealth? If you do, give yourself a 10. If you don't, or do it only a few times, give yourself a 5. And then of course, give yourself a 0 if you don't even do at all. Test number 8, do you intentionally build relationship with wealthy people or wealth-minded people? Right? Because again, you can maybe not have money today, but you are wealthy minded. All right. So it's important that you build intentional relationships with people who have money, who are wealthy beyond just having money or rich, and also who are wealthy minded. All right. And if you do that, give yourself a 10. Test number 9, do you have multiple streams of income or a framework that helps you to earn in multiple ways, right? Note, I didn't say multiple businesses. I said multiple streams of income, because you can have one business that gives you multiple streams of earning. Because the problem with having multiple businesses, not the problem, part of the problem here is a lot of persons start a business, and before the business even gets its root, you have diversified to another business. At that point, you may end up crashing everything. So if yours is having multiple businesses, just make sure that you follow the right principle of having multiple businesses. Whereas if yours is multiple streams of income, you can have one business and earn in multiple. For example, I am a lawyer, so I earn from being a lawyer, property lawyer. I have an academy, right? So I'm a lead facilitator, so I earn as a lead facilitator. I am a CEO. In fact, for you, yours may even be that you are even maybe a staff or an employee. But then if you have a structure that allows you to earn a little bit more, right? This can also help you. For example, you are a salary earner, but maybe have something that you can do to have small extra in terms of being able to pay your bills. Or you're a salary earner, but you earn commission. Or you are a salary earner, but you can still be able to close a deal, or if you bring a deal, you can still be able to earn a commission. At that point, that is multiple. You just have to be able to intensify them so that you can get results from both dimensions. But if all you do, you are just tied down, 100% tied down to that one source, then there is a problem. And test number 10 is, are you an investment addict? Now, I heard this one of the days I was listening to Coach Tade Cash, and he was sharing on people who are asset addicts, right? And I realized that indeed there are people who are asset addicts, and I call them investment addicts. In other words, they are so addicted to investing in real estate. I have clients too, for almost every property that we put in the market, they want to secure a plot 2 or 3. I have clients who buy properties as much as 3, 4, 5 times every year consistently. Now, they are investment addicts, and that addiction will definitely guarantee them becoming wealthy sustainably, right? So if you have that addiction, give yourself a 10. If you are in between, give yourself a 5. And if you don't even have it at all, you don't care, you just spend everything that you have, then give yourself a 0. And at the end of this, we can now determine where you fall into. So if you're 70, 80 and above, then you're already in the dimension of wealth. And then what you're doing is solidifying that wealth in terms of making it absolutely sustainable. All right. And then if you are between 60 to 70, we can put 55 to 70, right? Then you are building actively. All right. Then if you are 50 below, then you are rich, you have cash, right? But then you need to begin to sustain it. And then if you are 45 below, anything below, then you are just starting, and you need to get into the realm where you actively become rich, have cash, begin to build wealth, investing in assets, and then of course cash flow and everything in between, other the wealth building dimension, and then at the end of the day enter the realm of sustainable wealth. Now with this, I can guarantee you, life and everything in between has the major role that God and grace plays, and our prayer is that God will crown all of our efforts, strategies and wisdom with huge success. And in addition to that, we must play our part, and our part is to ensure that we're doing the right things, applying the right strategies, and putting in the right hard work. And I believe strongly that if we do, in addition to God and grace, we will definitely be able to enter the realm of sustainable wealth that is beyond us, but for generations unborn. That is the ultimate vision of Fortreal Rei Ltd, a real estate company right here in the very city of Abuja. And if you're interested in being a part of this family, a family where we are building wealth intentionally, then subscribe to this channel, like this video, reach out if you're ready to begin your investment journey as it relates to real estate. And most importantly, share this particular video with your friend, that friend that you think and you know that needs this particular video, and of course other videos that we share on this YouTube channel. Until I see you again, my name again is Raymond Ijoma, and I am the lawyer that loves real estate. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.